And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're back for another episode of the Weekly Roundup. I am your host, Steve Rochelle, being joined by this freaking delinquent next to me, Mr. Zachary Burr. Zachary, how are we feeling this evening? How you doing this afternoon? What's going on?
I was feeling a lot better before I was called a delinquent. I wasn't a delinquent. I've never been a delinquent. I'm a rebel. I think I'm a bit of a rebel. I'm a little bit of a free spirit, like our boy Cole Hamels right there. You know what I mean?
All right, yeah,
got
man.
the prettiest hair at A2D. That's a good way to describe me. But a delinquent? Come on, Steven.
You always got to be reveling out, having fun with the with the social media trolls who have to say some nonsense. I just got to have a little fun with you there, Zach. But we got a fun one lined up for you. We're gonna be talking some Doc Rivers and Sixers basketball, NBA Finals. The Lakers are up 2-0 on the Miami Heat. We got some baseball going on, obviously. You know, Major League Baseball playoffs. You know, no Phillies involved, obviously. We're going to be talking to UFC Flyweight Lauren Murphy, and obviously, you know, we're going to have some football talk, you know, break down the Eagles and 49ers matchup there. But, you know, real quick, let's get into our sponsor there, and we are brought to you here by our doc, make him your doc, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, Burlington, Cherry Hill, Bristol locations. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. And we're going to get right into it with the poll question. And the poll question today is, but that's also brought to you by our AMBUC services there. That's AMBUCK services. Call Michael Ambrose, tell him A2D set you 20% off gutter guards, anything around your house, got you covered at AMBUCservices.com. And that poll question is, will Doc Rivers deliver a championship here to Philadelphia? Agree to disagree? Mr. Zachary Burr, letting you kick this one off. What do you got for me, brother?
I mean, I think you'd have to, if we're going to be realistic about all of this, you brought him here for one reason and one reason only, and that's to get you over the hump and win a championship. So, you know, this whole tenure, however long he's here, however long he coaches here, if he wins championships, he'll probably be here a long time. But, you know, whether or not it's successful is going to come down to ultimately whether or not he wins a championship. So, I'm excited about the hire. I think Doc's the perfect guy for the job. Remember, we talked about all the possibilities of the guys that we talked about, from Ty Lue to Jason Kidd to Mike D'Antoni and all the nonsense. I was like, I don't like any of these guys. It's all a bunch of just – none of these candidates excite me. This is a guy that excites me. Like, you want to talk about somebody that can walk into that locker room and be like, hey, here's the deal, Ben. Like, here's the deal, Joel. You know, guys that need to adjust their personalities, adjust their attitudes. They need that attitude adjustment. You know, as your mom maybe called it growing up, you know, when you got your ass beat or whatever. You know, guys. So there's some guys in that locker room that maybe need a little bit of an attitude adjustment. Maybe need to be pushed a little harder. You know, they need a coach that, you know, is going to find, you know, something to get more out of them than what Brett Brown did. Hold them a lot more accountable than what Brett Brown did. This is everything. You know, people want to talk about underachieving and all that. You know, listen, in Philadelphia, for Philadelphia sports, this is everything. To get a guy like this and to bring a guy like this to lead your organization is a big deal in Philadelphia for any of our sports teams. You know, we were excited about Girardi for that reason. I think we need to be excited about Doc Rivers for the same reason. People talk about he underachieved with Los Angeles and all the great teams he's had that haven't won anything. You know, I get that he won a championship with the Celtics, but here's the other side of you know, people that talk about, you know, oh, he underachieved. Think about all the teams that he was against those years. You know, as good as his Celtics teams were there late, the Heat were always better. As good as his Clippers teams were, the Spurs were better when he first got there. And then the Warriors became better. So, you know, it didn't seem to matter how good his teams were. There was always somebody out in that conference that were a little bit better. Same thing this year, you know, with LeBron and the Lakers. So, you know, I think the people that want to talk about he's underachieved, that's a little bit of an, you know, unfair conversation. At least we know we have a guy that understands how to coach superstars, multiple superstars, and get them to perform, you know, at the highest level together. You know, and with Ben and Joel and whatever other direction you want to go, hopefully you can add a third piece to all that. But I think Doc's the personality that's best suited to handle this whole situation. And the other side of that is he's also not going to be a sheep to the organization. I think I think he's a guy that'll be able to stand up and tell the organization to go fuck off, or the owner to go fuck off if he has to in a certain situation where he just feels like it's necessary. I like that. A coach being able to have that respect for management, where it's he doesn't necessarily just bow over and do what they say or do what they want just because they want it. He's able to say, no, I'm coaching this basketball team. We're going to do what I want because fuck you. It's my team. I think we need a little bit of all of that right now. I think there was a little bit of all of that was an issue.
Doc is bringing a lot of different things. Like, I know a lot of people really want to kind of he underachieved here, but let's be honest, injuries play a factor, and the things you kind of mentioned play a factor into it. As far as he always had other teams that were in his conference who were far superior. There may be times where people may feel he underachieved, but also that also falls on the players as well. They're the ones on the court. He's a proven winner. I think he's had multiple 60-win seasons. Granted, he's only got one chip to show for it, but
that's one more. That's one more than we've had. In my lifetime, since you were probably a little kid.
Bring some accountability to this team. He's gonna force some situations where guys were comfortable before that they're going to have to respond differently because it's not Brett Brown behind the reins anymore. I think he could probably have a little bit more ear into Elton Brand to possibly get some roster moves the way.
I'll fire Elton Brand. Fuck that. Give Doc the reins. Doc can call the shot. Doc can make the draft picks. Doc can sign the free agents. I don't need Elton Brand in the conversation. The hell does he need to be in the conversation for? I'll name Doc Rivers president of basketball operations tomorrow, and he can be in charge of everything. How's that sound?
Hey, man, I don't think there's a whole lot of Sixers fans that would necessarily, have a problem with that, don't you think?
I mean, compared to what we have, Colangelo's, Elton Brands, fuck all that. Just here, Doc, you got it. It's it's your thing. This is what you've earned this after being, a championship-winning coach in Boston, then being the guy in Los Angeles. Now it's your turn not just to be the coach, but you also get to call the shots. It gets to be, all you. He did that for a little bit with LA, and then I think they took that away from him, and they just, you're the coach again. Maybe that's part of the reason why he, get out of LA and go to some place like here where even if Elton Brand's in the picture you talk about, you really think Elton's going to say, Elton's not going to stand up and tell Doc, no, I got this. Doc's like, you ain't got shit. You're going to do what I ask, bring in a certain player because I asked you to, and that's just the way this is going to have to be. But I would think all of that was discussed and very understood between all parties. If you're the Sixers, why would you push back against the idea of Doc Rivers having as much say about basketball personnel as you could? You can be like, no, I don't know about that. No, you're going to be like, yeah, whatever you want, Doc, sure.
I think the Clippers made a hasty mistake by letting Doc go. I really think they were hindered.
They're going to hire Ty Lue now. The Clippers are going to hire Ty Lue, which makes me laugh. It's just fucking hilarious to me. What are they going to be better? Ty Lue's going to get them over the hump now? You could win with Doc Rivers. You're going to win with Ty Lue?
I don't see them being able to do that, especially with that way that Lakers team looking, regardless of what kind of moves you make during the offseason to kind of retool and give Kawhi some guys he can make a run with and challenge the Lakers. But man, I just don't see how Tyronn Lue is the guy that can pull all that together.
I definitely think bringing Doc here, that means that there's this idea with Chris Paul or something like that. There's got to be some. It's not just about Doc is not going to have to walk in. We talk about demanding respect, accountability that we didn't have with Brett Brown. Doc's not going to have to go in there and demand any of that. He already has that. Players respect Doc around the league. Doc Rivers has that respect from players all over the league. He's going to walk into that locker room day one, and people are going to listen. Players are going to listen. Veterans, rookies, young, old, they're going to listen. They're going to respect him. So right from that point, I think we're already in a position where we're much better free agent destination. We're a much better trade target for guys that in today's league they sign and trade, and they always want to try to pick where they go. This gives all of us, this gives all of that credibility. We now become a credible organization because of Doc Rivers.
Does Doc give us credibility? He also – it's kind of a more of a different voice in the Sixers locker room. And I think something that is going to kind of help Joel and Ben kind of get into these bad habits that they've gotten themselves into. So
I think he'll look at Joel Embiid and he said, dude, you can be Kevin Garnett if you want to be. You know what I mean? Like I coach Kevin Garnett. I know how good of a, how dominant, I know what a dominant big man looks like. And I think you can be a dominant big man if you just listen, to what I'm trying to get you to do. I think immediately, because of who Doc Rivers is, a guy like Joel will listen and respond. Okay, I'll give this a chance, whatever you want. Those are the types of things, the little things that if you can just get a player to adjust something a little bit, the way Joel plays the game, instead of trying to shoot 5 threes a game, play the game a little bit differently, all of a sudden he becomes a lot more of a dominant player. He becomes we know Joel Embiid at his best can be the best big man in basketball. But you've got to be able to push the right buttons to get that out of him every single night. He can't take nights off, which he does. He can't take plays off, which he does. Doc's got to be the guy that gets that focus channeled where he needs to be to become the best player in basketball.
Probably be Ben. I think you might get a more motivated Joel with a guy like Doc Rivers there. We'll see. He's told us before in the past that he is making changes here and there. So
he could look at Ben and tell him, yeah, hey, I played with Dominique Wilkins back in the day. You could be a Dominique Wilkins. Dominique was a guy that liked to get to the rack and just jam it and stuff it and finish at the rack. He could shoot a little bit too, obviously, but I'm sure he looks at them as players and says, Ben, like your first instinct is I want to get to the rack and I want to finish. That was what Dominique always wanted to do, get to the rack and finish.
What do you think? I can't comment on this one.
I think he can. I think he's coached enough players, and I think he's played with enough guys throughout his career where he can look, at both those guys, Joel and Ben, and say, hey, I coach this guy. I played with this guy. If you do these things correctly and you listen to us, you can be just as good as that guy was. And whoever the player is he's talking about, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Dominique Wilkins, whoever it might be, he's got players respect enough for them to be like, okay, hey, let's do it your way then and see what happens. Now, if it comes to the case where Ben's too stubborn and say he still doesn't, want to expand his game and become any better than he already is, I'm sure Doc also has the balls to say, okay, fuck that. And, there's no problem. I'm sure Doc, as unpopular as it might be, and as much as his fans might hate it, he'd have no problem being like, hey, if I like this trade enough, he'll make the trade. He'll pull the trigger. He's not going to worry about public reaction. He's just going to do what he thinks best for the basketball team. So I think guys have to understand that, that's part of it. Like, yeah, you better respond to his coaching, or else there is no guarantee you just get to sit here and do what you want to do. You might find yourself somewhere else real quick. It's not. That's one thing that with Brown they got to win.
Now, how about this one? Where do you think this puts them in the Eastern Conference moving forward, without any offseason, moves, shakes, trades, etc., draft? Where do you think this puts them? Do you think it puts them within?
A lot of that depends, but yeah, this makes you a legitimate contender. Yes, this. At least for a regular season, you're going to be a great regular season team. Now we'll see what happens come the playoffs, but you should be a top 4 team.
What I'm interested in is the type of bench that he's going to build, because that's what he really needs to kind of fix this team to help them kind of get over some of these rough patches that they've. If he can fix that bench, then I think I agree with you. Where I think they kind of push themselves past the Bostons of the world, and we'll probably have to be trading blows with Jimmy Butler and division finals, conference finals, etc.
Yeah, I look at the Heat, the Bucks, the Celtics, us. That's probably those should be your top 4 teams right there.
You think Giannis isn't trying to get out of there after the season?
He might. I can definitely see. Are they going to bring somebody else into Milwaukee to play with him, or what's going to be the deal there? I think Miami seems like just a really awesome destination for everybody involved there. Apparently he's got he owns property in Miami or works out in Miami or something like that in the off season and different things like that. Could you imagine them adding him to that, that already established team with Butler and Tyler Hero and guys like that? They really would be the total package as a team if they would add Giannis. But I don't I feel like if he leaves Milwaukee, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see him go to a place like Miami where it's a big splash. You know what I mean? He's not going to just leave Milwaukee and go anywhere. Like, it's going to be somewhere where it's a big splash type move.
I like the signing. I like the chances of him bringing a title to Philadelphia within 3 to 5 years. We got to see how it all winds up playing out.
I also like the idea of established success with him, and you're not just we could be good for
it's not like he's
the next few years. We can also be good for the next 10 years.
Total rebuild here too. He's just retooling to kind of fix the gray areas that been neglected here or just been poorly attended to.
I look at this as like you could be a winning organization now for the next 10 years. You're not just talking about 3 or 4 years here. You're talking about trying to have established success for close to a decade. That's what you're hoping to get out of this. One way or another. Doesn't matter if Ben or Joel are a part of it or not. You're just, like you said, you every single year you're going to be looking to add pieces or whatever it is to make you just a little bit better than you were the year before, because that's what Doc Rivers teams always are. We're going to be there every single year. I would hope that should be the goal here. Not just let's win a championship in 3 years and then let's suck again for another 5. No, like establish success here. Get something that makes you a respectable organization around basketball, where people look at you and say, yeah, that's one of the top organizations in the game right there. Because I think we want to try to act like we were that because we look at guys like Embiid and Simmons and the potential that they have and say, hey, if you got 2 of the best players in basketball, you should be mentioned in that class. But nobody's going to mention you as one of the top organizations in basketball when Elton Brand's your GM and Brett Brown's your head coach. Like, no matter what, that's going to hold you back from being in that conversation.
With this signing, he kind of changes some of the perceived cultures here and all that, and we'll see.
Anything that happens, I give all credit to Doc. Like, I'm not giving credit to a GM or nothing. Doc's getting all credit for anything that happens with this.
Now, about what we have going on here with the NBA Finals, LA Lakers are now up 2-0, and historically, I think only 4 teams have ever come back from an 0-2 deficit. Returning players from injuries, etc., or not, I do not believe Jimmy could bring this team back and be 15. Not the way LeBron James and Anthony Davis are playing. And speaking of Anthony Davis, at this point in time,
he's dominating.
He is
the best big man in basketball.
MVP, the Finals MVP. You can say whatever you want.
And I had a feeling if we got to the Heat series, remember we talked about this. I said, the one thing the one place the Heat can't match up with the Lakers is they don't have a big man that matches up with Anthony Davis. That's where them adding Giannis at some point here in the next couple of years becomes scary, because then all of a sudden they've got somebody that can match up with him, and can also defend LeBron, and LeBron in a couple of years is going to be to the point where, who knows what, he'll probably still be a really good player, but at 37, is he still going to be the freak of nature that he is now at 35? At some point, we see it with Tom Brady, we see it with all of them. At some point, all the all-time greats, even as great as they are, will hit a wall. The closer he gets to 40, the less he's going to be able to be that guy that goes out there for 40 minutes every night and dominates, and the more he's relying on other people to do it. Right now, Anthony Davis, it doesn't matter what Jimmy Butler does to shut down LeBron. Doesn't matter what Andre Iguodala can do. To shut down LeBron. They have no matchup for Anthony Davis. Nothing.
Look, Zach, the Jimmy fans are out.
Stop talking about Jimmy. He left. Jimmy's a quitter. Oh, Jesus. See, this is why Jimmy left. Because see this loser mentality. Fucking loser mentality. You want a guy to stick around in a fucking shitty atmosphere with a shitty head coach that didn't hold anybody accountable, and with players that didn't want to get the most out of themselves. That's a player like Jimmy Butler. That's his worst nightmare. The dude's a competitor. He's got a fire that runs, a competitive fire that's, going at all times. The last thing he wants to do is be caught up in that. That's why he's a fucking winner. And every time they talk about that stat, every team he's gone to, how much better they've gotten, after he's arrived, that's a reason for that. Because he's a winner and he understands that there's a mentality to that. So you want to act like fucking whiny crybabies about the fact that the dude didn't want to stay here. Well, guess what? He told you everything you needed to know about how much of a loser mentality was going on in this organization. And it helped get Brett Brown fired and helped got Doc Rivers here. So you should be thanking Jimmy Butler.
Tell him, Zach. Tell him. All right,
get on your knees.
But again, like I said, at this point in time, if we're ending the NBA Finals right now, Anthony Davis is the reason why the Lakers are winning this. And that's
absolutely.
But I want to move on because they have been blowing up about it in the chat room ever since we started going on air. And just so you know, Mr. Zachary Burr, it is official. It is official. It is official. The Phillies have announced Matt Klentak has stepped down. So
how interesting.
Now, we're going to start with some Phillies. We're just going to talk some baseball, but obviously we have to address the elephant in the room with the simple fact that Matt Klentak is gone. And now, do you have a different
Cheers. I'll drink to that.
Absolutely. Cheers. Thank you. Thank you. Now that we have the proverbial thorn in our side out of the building, do we keep our catcher? Absolutely, Ted. That is exactly where I'm going. Do we keep JT Realmuto at this point in time?
I'll tell you what. Whoever the fuck, and I don't even know why we need a GM. Let's be honest here. Do we need to hire a GM to make that happen? John Middleton should step in right fucking now with all of his billions of dollars from the cigar empire, and him and Joe Girardi should bring JT Realmuto right into the office today and be like, here's the deal. I don't know who's going to be the GM next year. Don't give a fuck who's going to be the GM next year. All I know is you're going to be my catcher next year. What are we going to have to do to make this happen? And that's the end of that. And John Middleton signs the contract, and John Middleton makes the decision because it's John Middleton's money. I don't know why we need a GM to decide that. What GM, if we hire a GM and he comes up with the idea of, we're not going to re-sign JT Realmuto because I've got a better idea anyway. I don't want, why the fuck we hire that guy to begin with? The whole point of hiring a guy after firing Klentak, I would hope, would be the first thing he does is re-sign JT Realmuto. The second thing he does is rebuild the bullpen. If those aren't the first two things you're focused on, I'm not real sure, I'm not real sure why, you would hire anybody. I see it. That's why I'm struggling to finish my point. We ran Nelson Aguilar away. Nelson Aguilar. I know people you got one catch. Am I missing something? Did he all of a sudden turn into Jerry Rice? Jesus Christ. And guys like him, in all honesty, I thought he might be decent with the bring back. Pat Gillick's 90 years old. Can you stop? Good Lord. Bring back Pat Gillick and Ruben Amaro and Charlie Manuel and Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley.
If I'm not mistaken, is it Pat Gillick and Charlie special advisors?
They are. They're both old as dirt, and that's why they're in those roles.
To them. They're already in the building, and they don't listen to them.
Well, they don't. Let's be honest. I said this last week. They don't want if they wanted that type of responsibility in the organization, actual day-to-day, responsibility when it came to personnel decisions and shit. They could have it. I'm sure they could have it. They don't want it, or else they'd be in that position. You really think Charlie Manuel at 70-something years old wants to fucking travel around every goddamn day? No, he did that, been there, done all that. As a World Series ring, wants to enjoy retirement. Pat Gillick at 80-something years old wants to do all that? Of course not. Nor do you need an 82-year-old as the GM of your baseball team right now. I don't know who we would hire. I told you, Brian Cashman's at the top of my wish list just because of his connection with Girardi and all of that. I don't know if it's possible. I'll name him president of baseball operations, though, if I have to. I don't care what I got to do. He can have co-ownership. He can have an ownership stake. Middleton can be here's 2% ownership or stake. Will that lure you away from New York? But I just don't know if that's realistic. But, I don't care who we hire.
It's something we could really do, but
I don't care who we hire. All I know is Klentak being fired is the first step in fixing all of this.
Yes, Ted, we're live on Facebook, too. Just hop on A2D. Check us out on there. You can catch us over there.
I guess I'll say this. I want somebody, if we're going to hire somebody from outside, that is just doesn't have a connection to Girardi. Girardi better have a say in who the guy is, right? Should Girardi at least not have a say in who gets hired as the GM?
I can't. I have to put it
Are people just is this are people getting loaded as they watch college football today? What the hell? I'll tell you what. Tom McCarthy at one point when he was the announcer of the Trenton Thunder was also the general manager. Maybe we should just give him a shot. Tom McCarthy want to be the GM? Hell. Since we're just throwing out names that are fucking stupid.
I love you, Zach. just giving it to him raw. Got Ted over cracking up too. But listen, listen. I mean, all joke.
Hey, while we're at it, why don't we bring back Dallas Green? Since everybody wants to bring back people from the past, Dallas Green's still alive. He can come. Mike Schmidt, Pete Rose, and reinstate his ass just so he can be a president of baseball operations. We need all these fuckers. Get them all back. Fucking retarded.
Now, speaking of Major League Baseball playoffs here, we're
is that what we were trying to talk about?
We're trying to get back to baseball talk.
Okay.
Even Anthony's having fun over here.
I hope so, Anthony. I hope so. Somebody's got to entertain you during this, awful time. Wait till the Eagles talk if you think this is fun.
Yeah, we haven't started spitting venom about that yet. But we got into the
look at Ted. See, he's like, Jesus, that's true. He was GM and play-by-play, so he hyped up every player during the call. See, Ted remembers when Tom McCarthy worked for the Trenton Thunder. Come on. Do I want to be GM, Anthony? No, I don't want to be GM. I couldn't be. I'm too honest and real to be GM. People wouldn't like me in that building. I'm way too real.
Yeah. So, what are you looking forward to? You see the Dodgers kind of being the team that kind of comes out of the NL? Is that from what you're seeing so far?
I don't know. To be honest, I would love to see the Marlins go. I know people are going to hate on me with this. I would love to see the Marlins go, and we're going to fucking be so pissed to get as Phillies. And we need to be. We need something to motivate us as an organization. We need something to motivate us as an organization to say, damn, are you kidding me? The Marlins have 3 World Series championships? Think about it. If the Marlins were to win the World Series again, they'd have more World Series than us, and they've been around for 27 years. And they'd have more World Series than us. So let me just say, if that's what it takes to motivate us as an organization to get our head out of our ass and decide we need to start winning, focus on it, now, this nonsense is no longer fucking acceptable. If it takes the Marlins winning another World Series, well then fuck it. Especially with Sixto Sanchez as the ace. Oh, that would be, that would piss people off so fucking bad.
I do like
I'm gonna catch so much heat, Steve. I'm fucking gonna catch so much heat.
Like the Padres, as far as that being possible there. I would love to see Oakland kind of make a run and see them coming out of the AL would be fun.
I would love to see the Astros win it too, just because again it would piss so many people off. It would piss so many people off, and I would love it. I'd be like, yes, all you people that were so pissed. Now they win the World Series, and they can't be cheating. There's no way that they have any of that shit going on. They would have won the World Series. It would be it'd just be a thorn in everybody's side. People would fucking hate it. See, I like shit that triggers people like that. It's fun to me.
And we forgot, even the freaking Rays are in it. We forgot.
Tampa has a great chance at it. I'll tell you what. If you want to look at it, people I live down here, so I hear about it a lot. People are excited about the Rays. Nobody goes to the games, but people are everybody watches them. People watch them on TV, just nobody goes to the games. But the Rays, people, we can make fun of the Rays all we want, for the way they go about doing their business. They've perfected the way that they do everything, and every single year it's the same thing. We can make fun of the analytics all we want. They've got it figured out, and they have a system that works.
This one for a specific reason. All right, there was a major troll job on the Marlins thing. That's why he mentioned his comments a couple of seconds ago. Ricky Bowe had called them out, called them bottom feeders the first game, the post game. And Marlins made shirts out of him. I was actually at his signing here in the Northeast, and he was talking about that. Listen, if you're scrolling through comments to get motivation out of Ricky Bowe, you shouldn't be there in the first place, guys. Sorry.
I'm with you. Listen. The Rays have found a way to be better than the Yankees. How with such a lesser payroll, just everything that they do works, and it works for them. I'm not saying it'll work for anybody else. It probably definitely wouldn't work for us, but they are a really good organization. People don't give Tampa Bay enough credit for how good of an organization they've become on a year in, year out basis. If they were to go win it, I think that's for them, that's not just a fluke thing. They've been building towards that for a long time. You know what I mean? So like that would be something that's definitely hard earned. And I think that, I don't know how many people would care nationally. People would, like in New York with the Yankees fans would probably all hate on it, but fuck that. Fuck that. You tell me you watch the Rays, they aren't fun to watch. They had a dude that was hitting 159 that hit a grand slam in that game the other day. You see that shit? The 9-hitter was hitting like 159.
If the Padres come out of the NL, watch out. They can put up runs like it's nobody's business.
They are fun. And you know what? I love Fernando Tatis. We've talked about this on the show. He's probably my favorite young player in all of baseball, Tatis Jr. I mean, he's special. He's fun to watch. He's electric. He brings energy to the game. He makes it fun to watch, which is what you want as a fan. You know what I mean? You like that energy. Like that to me is like you can feel how much fun he's having playing the game as you watch the game go on. You know what I mean? Like I like shit like that. Yeah, I mean, I would be rooting for a team like that. They've got guys like Hosmer that have been there before that are a good mix of the veterans to go along with the young players. Sure, I'm another team that nationally people are like Dodgers fans would hate on it, Yankees fans would hate on it, but again, fuck that. Like good young pitching. That would make us mad too. They signed Machado to a similar deal that we signed Harper, yet they found a way to get young talent around him, get pitching surrounding him, and all of a sudden, they're one of the best teams in baseball with him in the middle of their lineup. They're probably what we want to be, and they're probably what we're trying to become.
Cardinals team, and I know like a lot of people still beat up on St. Louis, but they're there.
Well, they're a textbook example of that's a great organization right there that they just always have it. 20 plus years of them being one of the best organizations of baseball. That's not by accident.
And
that's what I would love to. That's what I would love to model an organization out.
And you still got the Braves involved in everything too as well. So
fuck that.
I know it's a divisional thing, but you still got to give them their due.
They got some fun talent. They got some guys that are fun to watch. If you ask me, if you say, if we were going to go outside the organization and hire somebody from an organization to bring in as a GM, I think I'd probably start with the Cardinals organization. I probably would. I really would. Like, if there's anybody in that organization you could bring in, whether it's from a scouting department, anything, I mean, they're the textbook example of what I think, you want to be when you talk about how they draft and develop young talent, and then they're able to go and sign, and get big time names like Paul Goldschmidt and guys like that can commit to long-term deals. I want to be able to develop talent the way that they do while also being able to have the budget to sign, big time star players that are on the market.
Anthony, you ain't the only one. Most, I would have to say at least 60%, 70% of the people here in Philly are going to say the same thing about Yankees fans. So we're with you.
I'm with you too. That's I want Cashman, and I think that would piss a lot of Yankees fans off.
You just want to pilfer the GM. I get you.
I mean, yeah, exactly. We can it's perfect. Think about how much of jerk-offs they're going to think we are. Think about how much you could tell them, we stole your GM, you fucking jerk-off. Like, think about the shit you could talk after if we took Cashman from them. Oh, man.
Before we move on from baseball, I absolutely got to mention the passing of Bob Gibson, man.
Absolutely.
One of the OG pioneers of the Negro League baseball players. It was Jackie, and then it was Statchel. So you definitely you have to mention him. So
I mean, he was big time pitcher with the Cardinals for a long time, and we just talked about St. Louis.
It was like I said, it was Statchel Page, and then I think Bob Gibson was probably one of the second big name pitchers that came out of the Negro League. So it was one of those things, man. You definitely have to show some love to the Cardinals organization, Bob Gibson's family.
They changed pitching rules because of him. That's the how dominant he was.
I think it was like the 68 season, and it was like 8 out of 10 games he had no complete game, no hitter, like complete game shutouts. It was like
he was so dominant
that some pitchers would dream to have.
I believe what it was they hired. I think they heightened the mound, or they made the mound lower, or maybe they lowered the mound. Something to do with the mound. They did something with the height of the mound that made it more difficult for pitchers.
His delivery, man, like he used to just he used to hit 100 on the radar, like 199, 97, like it was nothing. And not only that, he was a guy that like he would hit that 100 pitch count like it was nothing and blow right through it.
That's how you had to be back then. You had to be a horse like that. You had to be able to go 9 innings in a game no matter what, throw 140, 150 pitches if your team needed you. But he was, he's just a dominant player, a transcendent player for baseball. You talk about, the Negro Leagues and obviously everything with that, and then jumping into the major leagues and how significant it all was. So he's not only, a superstar, but he's a pioneer for the game.
The Yankee hate is just flowing through the listeners tonight.
We're trying to talk about Bob Gibson and give a classy, how much of a pioneer of the game he was, and Anthony's over here calling Yankees fans jerk-offs. Have some respect, Anthony. Did you kiss your mother with that mouth?
Yeah, we're gonna get some more positive, Ted. We'll get there. Lauren.
So we're not talking about the Flyers. So I mean, if anything, we'd be talking about the Lightning winning the Stanley Cup. That's not going to be anything positive for Flyers fans. They're not going to like that. If you want positive, you should wait for the Eagles conversation later.
What about Brian Elliott getting re-signed to a 1-year contract? Are you enthusiastic about that? The look in your face says it all, brother. You're like, what? Did you just say they re-signed him? What?
That was like, that's how excited I am. Like,
yeah, he says, I'm Irish, man. Deal with it.
Oh, okay. Anywho, I mean, Brian Elliott, man, he's a game changer. Woo!
Oh man.
Am I a New Yorker or a hipster? I'm from South Jersey, born and raised. Dude, I mean, I am a little bit of a hipster. Well, let's be honest. I'm a little bit of a hipster. We're not going to lie. But I'm South Jersey, born and raised, baby. There's Nicole Hamill's glove. But yeah, I'm definitely a little bit of a hipster.
I just think that the hippie, the hair gives kind of the hippie vibe. So I guess that's where we're going.
Yeah, well, I mean, my lifestyle gives a little bit of the hippie vibe. So, we'll hey, it matches. We're all good.
Now, I guess that's it for baseball for the minute, and I guess a few more minutes before Lauren Murphy should be joining us. I guess we'll get to some of these NFL comments as they've been kind of throwing them out.
Miles Sanders going to have a monster of a game. No, because Doug Peterson will, as soon as he ends up having any type of success, Doug will commit to throwing the ball 50 times, and we won't ever get to see it. So, little preview for what might be coming in Eagles talk. I bet you if J.J. Ortega-Whiteside was playing with Seattle, he'd find a way to be productive. I'll just say that.
He's got a few more of them here.
Yeah. You might be right, Spence. We might lose to the Niners.
I guess Ted had a question for you there.
Triton High School or Highland? No, I didn't go to either one. I didn't go up that far south.
Yeah. I don't know about I'm not Mr. Jersey. I'm Philly dudes. Yeah, so yeah, you can have your fun out there in New Jersey.
I grew up right on the Delaware River, Ted, like directly on the Delaware River, just north of Cherry Hill.
Yeah, I'm Germantown. Then moved up here in the far northeast and just continued to
move. Germantown Academy. Did you see Jesse? Did you go to school with Jesse Biddle? Did you go to school with Jesse Biddle?
Oh man. We knew that phrase was going to come out. And don't you dare put Pinkston at least made plays. He made plays.
Hey,
he made catches. He may have had alligator arms at times.
That's true.
The games. Todd Pinkston made plays. Don't you dare do that to him.
Todd Pinkston, people want to try to hate on those guys like they weren't that good. I mean, they were average. We were always mad because we wanted better. But Todd Pinkston was he was top 3 in the NFL for 40-plus yard plays down the field one year in that offense with Donovan. Like, he was a big-time play, like a big-time play threat down the field. He was a stretch the field guy for us. He made big plays down the field for that offense quite a bit. people just don't want to seem to remember any of that. But yeah, he was like number 3 in the NFL. I think it was like 2001 or something like that, 2002, whatever it was, in 40-plus yard catches down the field.
Yeah, man. And, listen, they weren't.
And James Thrash didn't play in the league for 13 years because he stinks. So.
Yeah, all right. There you go. That makes more sense. There you go. I'll give you the pace there, Anthony. That makes sense. And that still might even be a little bit of a stretch there, but
J.J. Hollins. I mean, listen. All I'm saying about, and we saw this last week. Like, I think the dude's mentally soft. Like, he's got his mom holding an umbrella for him at practice. Like, I don't know what the hell. Like, dude, like what? Like, NFL cornerback's going to eat you alive. Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up in a different organization. Like, say we drafted DK Metcalf and the Seahawks drafted J.J. Ortega-Whiteside. I bet you Russell Wilson would have found a way to make J.J. Ortega-Whiteside somewhat of a productive player in that offense. He'd have more than 10 career catches right now. I guarantee you he'd have a role. You know what I mean? Like, there's the difference. Like, there's a lot. Yeah, J.J. Ortega-Whiteside might not be that good, but there's more to it than just him not being good. There's more to it to all that. He's not so bad where he should only have 10 catches while DK Metcalf has 11 touchdowns. There's coaching and a lot of other things going into that. But we can get into all of that. There's a lot to talk about with the Eagles later, but I don't want to talk about too much of that now.
Damn, don't do that. Don't do that. All right, I'm gonna just give Lauren a few more minutes here, but there is some fights going on tonight, my friend. There's Bellator fights, kind of like the little UK version, and there's some more fight nights going on Fight Island. You got Holly Holmes headlining that one. I guess she's going to Arena Downia. And the former title challenger, interim challenger, whatever you want to call him, Carlos Condit is also going to be fighting tonight. I'm looking forward to that one.
Interesting.
And also, what is it? The former featherweight challenger who fought Holly for the title, Jermaine Duramity, I think she's like a 6-time Muay Thai world champion. Ugh. And
speak up, Junior. Oh wow, that's good. That's really good.
So she's making a return tonight, and one of the other ones she's kind of not getting the love, but that's probably from some choices she made when she was the champion. It happens. I don't agree with her. It is what it is. That's the life of how MMA works these days. But it is. Hey man, I like a lot of it. The Carlos Condit Court McGee fight is gonna be fun, Spence. It's gonna be fun. What are you looking forward to, man? Because I don't know. There's some of the ones on the undercard besides the Condit one that kind of gets me going there, but I don't know. It's all right, man. We still get it in there. We get you up and get you responded to. Don't worry about it. But thanks for tuning in from Poland, my friend. Appreciate the love.
Is he really in Poland?
Hey man, he wants Holly Holmes. So there we go. Hey man, I like her in that matchup too. The Castro in the co-main event as well. I like that one. And Zach's like, I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
I'm watching NASCAR at the moment. So,
who's winning?
Well, it's the Saturday Xfinity race, so it's all like the younger kids and shit. Chase Briscoe is winning. He could end up racing. He might race in Cup next year for Tony Stewart. Yeah, that's how good he's got. Like 8 wins this year.
I agree. I would like to see Amanda Nunes and Holly Holmes go at it again. I don't know if Amanda goes for that fight. Like, I don't really see what she has left. She's kind of, the queen of women's MMA, so to speak. Dethroned Ronda. She stopped just about everybody who had to stop. Stopped Chris Cyborg at the time when nobody thought she would be able to do it. I don't know if you ever see Jermaine and her get in there, but I would love to see her and Holly go in it one last time. Oh man, I totally agree with you, Ted. Totally agree with you. It was the biggest. It was the biggest sideshow attraction they've ever done, and they've done some bad ones. You got to remember the James Toney Randy Couture fight. That was the beginning of the whole super fight nonsense, and no.
Yeah, I think his problem. He wasn't Punk like 40 by the time. Like he got.
Dude, he was fighting another guy who was just as green as him. But he kind of had he had a little bit of a pedigree to him. But why do you think she needs to get out of Jackson's, Anthony? I know that's kind of been her home, that's her team for a while. But why get out of Jackson's? Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Spence. There really is. It's who left for her to beat. I mean, you keep hearing the Megan Anderson fight. I don't have any interest in that really. I think Megan's 2-3 years away from really should be able to fight for the title. There really is just you got to see who it is. I mean, do you want to see somebody like Jermaine Duramini? Do you want to see them go out of the box? Maybe find a boxer to come in here and fight her? I mean, that's probably the only thing you really have left to entice her for a fight. Yeah, I know, Ted. It was bad. It was bad. At least Brock fought. At least Brock was one of these guys who went in there and threw it all out there. And like you even say, like other WWE guys who've kind of transitioned over into MMA who've been not just successful, but like in a way of actually putting meaningful fights together. I mean, hell, even Jason David Frank looked like a better fighter than CM Punk, and we know the beef them two got against one another. Yeah.
Well, Jason David Frank's like a legit black belt or something. Isn't he? I mean, like he's a fucking dude's like he kicked most of our. He's like a triple strike black belt, whatever the hell the shit is. I mean,
he's like a 5th degree and like multiple ones too. Yeah, so
I mean, let's be honest here. Like,
yeah, but also
you asking by Jason David Frank,
and even the one fight he was fighting at heavyweight. I'm like, what is this guy doing? But I would still give him more legitimacy than anything that CM Punk did inside of a ring at all. At least in an octagon. I mean, yeah, he just dropped it there. Bobby Lashley, Batista, Jack Swagger, all legitimate combat fighters.
Jake Hager, yeah, he's currently doing really well. Dave Batista went and had a little bit of success. Lashley's obviously still doing both. So I mean, yeah, there's plenty of guys.
I don't think it's that she's used to winning easy fights. I'm thinking that it's one of these things where the skill level of some of these younger generation fighters are starting to catch up, where they're so good at multiple different disciplines. Where Holly just came from boxing and then kind of developed the other skills. Where some of these girls, some of these athletes, they've just been doing MMA since single digits. Regardless if it's 3 years old, 9 years old, 8 years old, they're doing MMA. They're not just doing one discipline. That's what I'm thinking. Kind of what's more happening to Holly in that sense. Yeah, I mean, how do you make that fight happen, Spence? Tell me that one. How do you make Amanda Nunes in Bullet Valentina Shevchenko fight? I mean, that's that. We had it once. We've seen it. It's one of those things. I just don't see that happening again. Batista has hung up his gloves long ago. It was one fight. He got rocked real early. Gets a guy has a worse looking body than I do, and he didn't get out of that too well. And why would Batista go back to fighting when what his acting career is at this point in time?
He's got a better acting career now than before. There was an old story from WWE apparently back in the day where apparently Booker T and Batista actually got into a legitimate backstage fight, and that apparently Booker T was whipping his ass. Like apparently Booker T was beating Batista.
He can never get medically cleared with his neck. I don't think there's a single athletic commission in the United States that would sanction him. You might be able to go up to Canada and have someone sanctioned Kurt, but I don't think the UFC wanted any parts of that. He just wasn't there for that one. I mean, the real thing is what do you do with Israel Adesanya in this whole John Jones thing with them kind of chirping back and forth? You know, John's been kind of relinquished the 205 title, which is now Jan Blachowicz, you know, as he stopped Dominic Reyes last week and is now the lightweight champion for light heavyweight champion for the UFC. And John Jones is kind of looking for a dance partner. So with Israel's dismantle of of his latest opponent with the butt humping afterwards, was freaking hilarious.
Oh, jeez.
Dude, Costa was so angry afterwards. He made some posts about it. Wants an immediate rematch. It's bad. I mean, but you know, Israel is just on another level with some of the guys that are in that division. They're just not there. But yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out. Don't know what's happening with Lauren, but I guess we'll just move on to some football. I know because Mr. Zach has some venom to unleash about the freaking tie last week. Yes, there's a tie. There was a tie. Yeah. There was a tie because your freaking coach, your fearless freaking coach, sat there and didn't want to kick a 64-yard field goal and was scared what a rookie quarterback would have done with a short field and about 15 seconds left.
Hell, going for it on 4th and 12 would have been a better option than punting the fucking football. I mean, there's just so much fucking wrong with it. I mean, it's just so bad. You know, we're in a must-win football game. I mean, it's must-win. A tie does me no good. These people that want to do their fucking math and say, well, technically, 2-1 gives you a better percentage to make the playoffs than 0-3. Shut up, Professor fucking Frink, okay? I don't fucking need your nonsense. It's a must-win football game. I got a dude that's known for being ballsy and going for it and fucking pedal to the metal at all times. 4th down and 2, we're going for it. Fucking, 4th and 1 at the goal line, we're going for it. You know, he has no problem fucking making the ballsy call when he has to. And my man all of a sudden plays for a tie? I mean, I literally went on Facebook after I said, it's a borderline fireable offense for me. It puts him on the hot seat. And me and you talked last Saturday before this game, and I made it very clear that I didn't want to be misunderstood when I said I wanted Doug Peterson relieved of play calling duties, but I had no interest. Like, I was not even going to entertain the idea of firing him as a head coach. I am now entertaining the idea of firing him as a head coach. He's got 13 games to save his fucking job, or his ass can be out the door. Howie Roseman's going with them, and all of Doug's assistants that he handpicked can fucking take a hike with them, with the exception of maybe Deuce, because we've talked about that as well.
Yeah, I really think that Deuce is somebody who should have really kind of like somebody should be getting in Doug's ear, be like, listen, you need to start listening to Deuce because we looked at it. You look at that loss and Miles Sanders was at some point in time averaging 8 freaking yards a carry.
Yeah, it was 7 yards per carry in the middle of the 4th quarter, and they stopped running the football with him. Just completely stopped.
Yeah, I have no words for that. None. Not nothing. Nothing.
But your idea, you would like to think that somebody, like you saw about getting in Doug's ear, I think the problem is that Doug won't listen to anybody. I think Doug made that. I mean, they brought up the question to him the very next day about whether whether or not, he was interested in giving up play calling duties, and he made it absolutely clear. I call the plays. Like, it almost in it's a disrespectful type of thing to even assume he would think about giving up play calling duties. So I think part of the issue has to do, I'm tired of sitting here and acting like Doug's Mr. Everything. I think the dude's a little stubborn. I think the dude's got a big head since winning the Super Bowl. And I think he doesn't want to listen to people around him as much as he once did. And that's a problem. You great coaches surround themselves with great assistants for a reason. Okay? You can't just try to make everything about you. And whether or not we have good assistants or bad assistants, I don't know. All I know is it's not working. And these are assistants that Doug handpicked. Jim Schwartz is still – Doug Peterson made it clear at the end of last year, did he not? Did he not? He made it clear at the end of last year, I decide who the assistant coaches are. I decide who gets to be the assistant coaches. Like, those are my decisions. So here we are talking about Jim Schwartz for like the fifth fucking straight year, fourth year, whatever the fuck it is. We're talking about Jim Schwartz and his defense for way too fucking long. And every fucking week we have the conversation about how bad Jim Schwartz defenses might be. They actually played pretty well with 8 sacks up front against the Bengals, so I don't want to rip them too bad. But, we'll have conversations all the time about how bad Jim Schwartz and his defense might be, and we'll sit here talking about firing Jim Schwartz, and we never once want to point the finger at Doug Peterson, who's the reason that Jim Schwartz is still here. I think Jim Schwartz should be fired. But if that decision's up to Doug, and Doug is the reason that he's still here 5 years into all of this, and we still have a shitty defense outside of what Darius Slay has been able to give us, our secondary still gets fucking torched. We still get no pressure from the linebacker position when we try to blitz. We don't even have a linebacker position.
Cover at linebacker. The hell would give me somebody who can cover, break up a play, do something. I think I think. Quarterbacks' passer ratings on Nate Gary is 158 points.
It's perfect. It's perfect. They have a perfect passer rating against him. And it's we've been spending all this time. We did it last year. We did it the year before. Whenever things were going well, what's the issue with the Eagles? What's the problem with the Eagles? What is the main cause? I'm tired of pointing the finger at any one person, and it's the total fucking package. And you know what? If you're blaming everything, if it's everybody's fault, eventually that's falling then on two main people: the GM and the head coach. That's who gets blamed. That's who gets blamed when everything is fucked up. When everything's fucked up, those are the two people that get the most blame. Your GM and your head coach. Howie's getting fired because he can't fucking draft to save his ass, and we haven't been able to develop talent on top of it. After we draft people, we can't develop shit. Okay? And then Doug, I don't know maybe the guy's overwhelmed after giving himself all the extra responsibility, but the dude is completely lost as a play caller. And if he's not willing to give up those play calling duties, and he's not willing to give up more control in the offense, eventually there's nothing else you can do for somebody that doesn't want to help themselves. With this, we could be 0-5-1. Think about it. After the next 3 weeks, I mean, none of these 3 games are like you look at it and say we should win any of those 3 football games right now. And if we're 0-5-1, you damn Skippy, the conversation begins of who's on the hot seat, whose hot seat is as hot as it can get, who's going to be the first one to get fired. All those conversations start if you're 6 games into the year and you haven't won anything.
Now, here's one thing for you, like for your Carson people. I know I've seen a bunch of people post this and want to run it, but Carson Wentz has played with 20 receivers in his career. 10 of them are no longer in the NFL. Deshaun Jackson has missed 16 of
his last 20 games.
Okay, wait. Actually, hold on a second. We got Lawrence here. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, let me.
Right in the middle of all of this, jeez, I don't know if this is a good time.
Hold that thought, ladies and gentlemen. Hold that thought. We're going to be joined by our first guest of the afternoon, UFC Flyweight, Miss Lauren Murphy.
Hi,
Lauren,
guys.
how are we doing this afternoon?
Sorry I'm late.
Oh, it happens. I know how it goes. You get caught up in the day after training. You're probably like, just relaxing. And like, oh. Wait.
Yeah, I did. I didn't just get done training, but I got done training and then I ate lunch and I laid down with the dogs and then I was just dicking around on the internet. I'm sorry.
Completely unacceptable. Completely unacceptable.
I know. And usually when I do interviews with people, I tell them like I'm real forgetful. So send me a reminder or something. But I thought I had this one. I had an alarm set and everything. So I thought I could get this one on my own.
It happens, Lauren. I know you don't ever do it on a purposeful thing, but always appreciate your time and all that. It's been a while since me and you've been able to catch up here. A bit was back in the audio only days, so I actually get to see you for once.
Yeah, how you doing?
It's been good. We're getting back into it. Having fun here on A2D Radio, Weekly Roundup. Now we get a chance to talk to you. You got a big one coming up here. You're fighting on the big Khabib and Gaethje fight. You got to get a chance to have a larger platform. What are you feeling for that one?
I'm just super honored to be on it. I'm real jacked up to go to Fight Island. I think it's just going to be a really cool experience. I'm super ready for the fight. I'm in great shape. I'm bringing all my favorite people with me, so it's going to be a really good time. I think I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean the whole Fight Island thing is definitely a lot of people have been kind of interested to see how that whole thing is. Is it you're more looking for the experience, or the whole fight itself is going to be kind of what you're looking forward to?
Yeah, all of it. I mean, I would fight Cinthya anywhere. I would have fought her in Vegas or in a big cage or a small cage or or you know what I mean? I don't really care where we fight, but I think fighting Cinthya is going to be fun because she's an exciting fighter and
Yeah.
she just has a real exciting style. So it'll be cool to try and keep up with her. It's going to be fun to test my grappling against her, I think. Yeah, it's going to be super fun to move up in the rankings and take her spot and become the #1 contender. That's probably going to be the best part. But I'm looking forward to the beach and the flight out there and everything too.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the things when they signed this fight. I was really excited because I know you're one who kind of like to test yourself with some of these matchups, and people always like to kind of downplay your skill set. We've talked about this so much over the years, and that they count you out of a lot of these fights, and here we are, 5-6 years later, different weight class. You're knocking on the door, getting ready for your arguably your first title shot in the UFC. And it's a specialist, if you really ask me my opinion. I don't really think she's a complete mixed martial artist, in my opinion. I know that she does have skills in other areas. I still believe that jiu-jitsu is kind of her really strong suit. We've seen a lot of these fighters kind of fall prey to the well-rounded fighters in the past. And I really, as much as I like Cinthya's game, I really think that you kind of have a few more tools in a tool belt to kind of hold off that one real trick that she does really well.
Yeah, she gets to the back really well. She's a super specialist, I think, at taking the back. I was surprised that she didn't finish Jessica Eye, though, to be honest with you. I don't know if she got tired because that fight was on short notice or what, but I think that's probably the most important thing is making sure she doesn't get on my back. But we've been working a lot of back defense, and, I've been getting a lot of good looks from my sparring partners and stuff for that, so no problem. But yeah, other than that, I think I kind of hold an advantage almost everywhere else. I'm going to have more power. I'm going to be a little bit bigger. I'm for sure going to be stronger. I think my stand-up game is going to be a little bit better. My clinch will be better. And we'll see what happens on the ground because I'm real confident in my grappling too. I'm one of the most well-rounded fighters in the division. I'm one of the most experienced, and I'm for sure one of the toughest. So it's going to be
that's one of the things
a good night.
Not just the toughest. I also just think from being in the bigger weight class, I still also think you're going to have that strength advantage a little bit because you're so used to some of these bigger, stronger girls that not only you've been in the cage with, but you've been on the mat with, etc. So I'm really looking forward to that. But we actually had a question from one of our listeners, and asked is the air up there is super hot. You're fighting early. Does that affect how you approach your fighting style for that fight?
No, I don't think so. I don't really worry too much about that, unless it was like an elevation. If I was fighting at a high elevation, then I would probably change some stuff in my camp. But we're gonna end up fighting at about 2:30 in the morning, something like that, and we'll be fighting inside an arena that I think they've gone to pretty great length to make sure that it's comfortable in the arena. Because one of the first shows there that before the pandemic, it got real hot in that arena. It was when Andrea Lee fought Joanne Calderwood. And I remember them talking about how it was like 100 degrees in the arena when they fought. And I think ever since then, they've really tried to make it comfortable for the athletes. So I'm not too concerned with the air temperature.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things. I think the only thing I would say is the time thing. Like, and that's normally, I think a lot of you fighters fly in early to kind of adjust for that when you guys travel over there. So, like, that's probably the only thing. I always sit there and say, like, when you're flying out, obviously, it's probably within the next like 10 to 14 days, right?
Yeah, I think we fly out on the 14th, so like 10 days from now.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting. And are you who are you looking for tonight? There's some fun matchups going on. Holly's back in there, Jermaine's back in there, Carlos Condon and Court McGee are going to be throwing hands. It's that card tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun card. I don't know. I suck at making predictions, but I'm really excited about Juliana Pena and Jermaine Durandamy. I'm really excited about that. That's probably the fight I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, I mean it's been a while since Juliana's been in there, and Jermaine, a lot of people, either you love her, you hate her, whatever your stance is with her. She definitely has a skill set that people need to pay attention to. I'm really looking forward to see how that one plays out too.
Why would anybody hate Jermaine? I don't understand why people.
Oh, I said something about, because she had made a post like how she gets unfairly treated, and then like I guess I'd kind of say, because I see what she's trying to say, like she doesn't really get a fair shake, but and a lot of fans on how MMA Twitter is, they just go running their mouths, sitting there saying, oh well, she ducked Chris, it was a moral thing, she should lucky to even have a job. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, okay, we know Chris has had problems in the past, but like, why are you still using this as your basis why you don't like her? Why you don't feel she should be there? It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I don't like about social media these days. People just get to run their mouth and say whatever they want.
Yeah, that is true. People can say anything on social media.
And then you get people who do say stuff, and you get banned, or you get this person reports it as this or that, and you have to go fight with whatever social media platform it is, or you get your account back. It's nuts. It's a weird time to be on social media.
Yeah, it is. I know. I wish the fighters didn't get so much hate, but I think that's just. I mean, it's kind of for any sport. I guess the fans are going to be. They're cool when it's like Izzy was saying the other day, they're cool when they're like individuals or like in small groups, but when they get together with that mob mentality, like there's no reasoning with a mob, you know what I mean? So
you're absolutely right. There is absolutely no reasoning with a mob, and there's nothing you can do. There's absolutely nothing you can do about that. And when it comes to social media, that there's no repercussions for any of it. But I mean, as unfortunately when you're a public figure athlete, it's kind of what you unfortunately have no say in, but you sign up for.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, sometimes it's driven by the mob. Sometimes it's driven by the media. Sometimes the athletes bring it on themselves. But for sure, if it was easy to be a professional fighter, everybody would do it. It's not easy, and a lot of people on Twitter think it's easy.
the Twitter fingers have muscles, but the actual muscles don't have muscles.
Yeah.
But that's just the way it goes sometimes. But Spencer had a question. He wanted to know, who do you think had better chance of winning Holly Holm, beating Nunes, Holm, or Jermaine Duramity? If you're looking at featherweights moving forward, who are probably going to be in the conversation for the next fight.
I don't think either of them have a chance at beating Amanda. They both already fought her. They both lost. She schooled them both.
We were talking about it before you came on. They're really I don't know who do you call to get Amanda to come back and fight, because there's nothing really to prove. She's beaten everybody. She's kind of stood at the top of the mountain, defeated everyone who you're supposed to defeat. Like, what do you do? Do you go get like a boxer or somebody outside of the MMA to kind of entice her to fight? Because she's getting ready to start motherhood and life with Nina and everything like that. So what brings her back?
I don't know. If and when I become the champion, I would love to fight Amanda Nunes. Honestly, I've always dreamed of fighting Amanda Nunes. That would be a crazy fight. And it would be an honor for me to like stand across from the greatest of all time. She's the GOAT, she's one of the best to ever do it. It would be an honor for me to fight Amanda Nunes, and maybe in another universe or another life or a far off dream world, or maybe this one, maybe I'll have my opportunity to face her someday. But I really like Amanda a lot. Like I actually really, really admire her, and I look up to Nina a lot too. But Amanda's really been a source of inspiration for me, and I would love it before my career is over to maybe possibly test myself against her one day.
I mean, yeah, you say in this universal reality. I mean, we live in the Marvel universe nowadays, right? Where we're about to find out about the multiverse. Who knows? In some universe, you do beat her, Lauren. You never know.
Hey, 2020 is crazy. I would just be happy to face her, honestly. I mean,
and I'm with you a lot on a lot of that. Like, she's inspirational in a lot of ways. Like she didn't have the greatest start to her MMA career, and she worked hard to be the greatest person in the eyes of all her peers in the world right now.
Yeah, she did work really hard, and she's a really good lady, and she's always been super kind to me every time I see her. So it was cool watching her go from Invicta to the UFC to UFC champion.
And not just that, people forgot, like, she was in the early Strikeforce days before, Invicta, she suffered a loss to Kat Zingano in the early days as well. So a lot of fans online were also, but let her fight Kat and see what happens. They were two totally different fighters at the time, went on two totally different directions. It's like, we can't even talk about it. Or it's like, it was like, it might as well be 20 years ago.
Yeah. Fighting is like that, man. No two fights are ever going to be the same. You could have the same fighters fight 10 times in a row, and you're almost guaranteed to get a different decision every time, unless you're talking about somebody like Khabib or something, But for the most part, you get two elite athletes fighting each other, you're going to get 10 different results out of 10 different fights.
Yeah, I mean, it's the fight game is crazy because, someone could have your number one night, you flip a coin, something happens in a different fight. That's why, you never know what happens. The MMA is a game, more game of inches. I keep sitting there saying it to everyone. And, any other sport you really think about, because, you don't step in properly the right way. You don't get enough power in your punch, or you're not in the right place to get the takedown properly, etc. It's just so much of a game of inches in MMA. You don't really know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it is. It's a game of inches and sometimes millimeters.
If we can get any smaller than that, who knows? But obviously you're talking about Amanda's your dream fight. We've been hearing a lot of stuff. Mr. McGregor's coming back. Obviously, Spence has another question for you. Who do you think is going to win that Manny McGregor match?
Manny, like without even a question.
That's not even a question.
Pacquiao.
Literally, I think Conor might be the richest 0-2 boxer I've ever seen.
For sure. That dude has the gift of gab, for sure. He's a very gifted fighter, obviously, too. But, to talk himself into two boxing matches. Is that thing with Manny Pacquiao happening?
I haven't seen anything definite. I know, we've been seeing a lot of going back between, Conor and UFC management, Dana, etc. They've been having their world wars. Obviously he's getting some reactions with the fact that him and Dustin tried to go the roundabout and have a charity fight to have the fight happen to kind of get the fight going without the promotion. Then all of a sudden they're both getting phone calls. I don't know what's going on. I'm not the one behind the scenes. All I know is Conor McGregor's involved. Get your popcorn ready.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But it sounded like Manny Pacquiao probably takes it blindfolded too.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I love Conor, it's just Manny is just on another level, just both with footwork, hand, his hand speed, etc. I really don't see how that plays well for Conor. The boxing styles are just so totally different. I couldn't imagine a universe where he wins.
It sounded as if they were saying, from what I had heard the other day, that Dana White had thrown some type of offer out there in an attempt to try to lure Conor away from that offer with Manny and get him to return to UFC for a fight. But
the rumor, it might happen in January.
I heard that all the salaries in the Manny fight would go towards like charities or something like that. Like, so they're not pocketing whatever the deal is, whatever amount of money comes with that. They wouldn't be pocketing most of it. It would mainly go to some type of charity or whatever.
Yeah, that would be kind of crazy to have two superstars like that fight for no purse. That's insane.
Would it not add to the insanity that it was already here? I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's true. If they did it in 2020, that would be pretty on brand.
They're probably both making a ton of money from endorsements off that fight anyway.
Obviously.
Manny. Dana was like, hell no, y'all are having that fight. I'm getting my cut.
Obviously, he always has to have his hand in it. You get it. And Spence over here is letting us know he's hurt January, and Manny's donating a major of his purse to COVID. So.
Right, of course.
Hopefully, we get some normalcy over the next few months and kind of start getting back to some normal life with some of the stuff kind of, dying down and going away. If people start, doing whatever you're supposed to do to kind of help this link going along. But Lauren, before we let you go, you know what I typically do, kind of throw the proverbial microphone over you. Anyone you would like to thank, shoot out your sponsors, anything that you're doing, outside of the fight world that you want the fans to know. The time is yours, my friend.
Right on. Thank you. So a big shout out to Blackout Coffee. I love those guys. They're super good to me. Make sure you drink their coffee. Link is in my bio. And then Coldest Water's been hooking me up too. And I could tell in the Houston Heat that their water bottle actually works, keeps your shit ice cold. So look them up too. All that is on my Instagram. And I just want to give a big shout out to my team. Thank you to Crew Bob Perez and Main Street Boxing here in Houston, and Alex Cisne and Gracie Baja Katie out there in Katy. It's been awesome. Yeah, I've had an awesome camp. So fans can find me at Lauren Murphy MMA. That's on Twitter or Instagram. Come hit me up. My Instagram's pretty lit, so check it out.
We're getting a little troll from you from Spencer. You want to say go Eagles? I don't think she's an Eagles fan, if I remember that correctly.
I'm not even a sports fan.
So you can say it then. So go Eagles.
Go Eagles. Fuck yeah.
Woo! It's official. Now we're gonna win. Now it's official.
I don't know if we can get that much. Like we're gonna have to rub a few more magic balls to see if we win Sunday night. We'll see about that. But Lauren, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for your time. Best of skill on the 24th, and hopefully you do get that number 1 ranking and your crack at the title.
Thank you. I hope so too. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, anytime, Lauren. Thanks for your time.
All right, bye.
All right, everyone. That was Miss Lauren Murphy. She's going to be going up against Cinthya Calvillao. That is going to be a fun fight. The Lauren Murphy is one of my favorite people in MMA because she just tells you how it is. She doesn't back away from a question. Obviously she doesn't back away from a challenge. She wants to fight one of the greatest female fighters, that we've ever seen. You got to respect that. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how her fight plays out. October 24th, UFC 254. I believe she's one of the first few fights on the main card, if I remember correctly. But we're going to get back into the Eagles talk now that Lauren has gave us a few minutes of of her time this afternoon. And now, I think we said what we had to say about the Bengals game, correct? I think we got that out.
I mean, did we? I don't know. There was a lot to talk about. I don't, about the Bengals game in particular, no. But, there's just, we just found out today Jason Peters is going on IO now with the toe injury. People want to keep talking about the medical staff. We've got a new medical staff this year compared to last year. There's a whole new person fucking in charge. At some point, this is ridiculous when you look at how injured we get every single year. Do you not have to start pointing the fingers at the coaching staff and say, what the hell is going on in practice? What is going on from a preparation perspective? What is going on from a nutritional perspective with the shit that allow people to eat? Like, what is going on that is making everybody every single year get hurt and not be able to stay healthy? We ripped Chip Kelly. At least when Chip was here, guys fucking stayed healthy because they drank their fucking fruit smoothies and the nutritional program fucking worked and guys actually saw the fucking field.
Oh man, yeah, I know.
But this is almost ridiculous that guys get injured every fucking year like this.
Like Pete, I don't want to hear about this. Listen, it's bad. It really is. It's bad, but there's a lot of bad to go around.
The injuries are killing us. Everything's killing us, Spence. Everything.
Doug needs to look in the mirror and take a figure out what's going on with that play calling. You see reports this week. From Mr. Nick Foles, Frank Reich's the guy that figured him out and stuff like me and you've been talking about. They know what Carson is. Yeah. It's pure.
But that's not good.
Boxness that you want to try to make this guy be a pocket quarterback.
Yes, it's insanity. It's insanity. And does it not scare you? All these people want to talk about how much they, this offensive genius that Doug is, and and maybe he is. Maybe we were all fooled a little bit, and maybe he pulled one over on us and made us think he was better than he was. And when you hear guys say, "Hey, it was Frank Reich that figured me out as a player," that makes you scratch your head a little bit and go, "Uh-oh. Maybe there's something to this." Ever since Frank Reich left and we haven't looked the same on offense and it's been 3 years of it now, maybe this isn't just a smoke and mirrors. Maybe this isn't just people wanting to come up with some sort of conspiracy theory. Maybe there's actually something to this. Frank Reich really did help Doug Peterson that fucking much. This is a guy that had his best stretch as an NFL player during that time with us as an organization. And he pretty much gave Frank Reich the credit for figuring him out as a player and what made him successful during that stretch. And it wasn't done. He gave Frank Reich that credit. That scares me. That makes me think Doug Peterson wants to act like he's the smartest person in the room, and he's really not. And anytime you get to a point where somebody wants to be the smartest person in the room and isn't.
I agree with you, Spencer. The pressure isn't all on Carson Wentz. It is on that entire team, first off. He has absolutely no wide receivers. He has no offensive line. The pressure is not on Carson Wentz.
There's no pressure on us, period. I mean, when you think about it, there's no pressure on us, period, Steven. We're 0-2-1. We're going on the road to San Francisco for a primetime football game against a really good football team that even without Jimmy Garoppolo looked phenomenal last week. They're really well coached. We're going to get out coached for the fourth straight week. We're not even going to sit here and try to act like Doug Peterson's going to figure it out this week and all of a sudden out coach Kyle Shanahan, because that's not going to happen. Robert Saleh, that defense is going to,
fans are going to have to rest their hat and pray on is that those guys that have been picked up and activated at wide receiver and love that Andre Killens is gotten called up. Hopefully he can get a few clean punt returns and seeing if he can make a few happen. I like him out of the backfield. Maybe you see he can get some things going that way. But here's the other thing. The Eagles screen game has looked absolutely like garbage. So
it's terrible.
I can't even rest my hat on that.
But this idea, we got Killings in there, and look at all the things he can do. Great, and then I'm supposed to trust Doug Peterson to actually put together a game plan and scheme something up where we're going to use that guy properly in space, where he can't even figure out after 3 straight fucking years that where his franchise quarterback is at his best is when he's rolling out of the pocket one way or the other and being able to see the whole field. If he can't figure that the fuck out and he's too stubborn to change any of that, why am I to believe that at this point he's going to be able to scheme Adrian Killens into the fucking offense? Like, I think at that point we're just fucking reaching, like, this is so weird. We're trying to be so optimistic and reach for anything positive. Well, maybe Adrian Killens can give us some. Adrian Killens ain't going to give a shit offensively. He might give us a few good punt returns like you said, Steven. Outside of that, he ain't going to do donkey shit.
I actually don't want to see him even run the ball. I would like to see him do something out of the backfield or something to that effect, because that's the only way he's going to give you something outside of a return a kick.
You brought up how Doug doesn't want to use how he doesn't use Carson correctly, isn't it? Like, it's amazing when you look at you brought up Miles Sanders earlier.
Beth is already preparing for the inevitable.
There you go. You brought up Miles Sanders earlier with his 7 yards per carry, and then all of a sudden Doug just stops running them. Like, that's the type of shit. Like, you've got a quarterback that's struggling. He's struggling to find his rhythm a little bit, struggling to find his groove early. Maybe it's fucking with his head a little bit, missing a little bit too many throws. So you're going to do everything you can as a play caller to take the pressure off of that guy, right? No, fuck it. Let's have him throw the ball 50 times. I've got a running back that's got averaging 7 yards a carry, but fuck him. We'll just have him run the ball 18 times. I'm going to throw 50 times. And when we fucking lose and look fucking stupid, then everybody's pointing the finger at you. It's like, it's Pop Warner bullshit. You know what I mean? It's simple-minded football fans can figure this shit out, and Doug can't.
You have to think about why this is probably going to be Trent Williams is over there in San Francisco now. We're probably not going to hear anything from Joshua today, right? Probably not going to get another game like that out of Fletcher Cox again. Definitely.
Yeah, I doubt we're going to have 8 sacks.
Definitely came in. You're not getting eight sacks against the San Francisco 49ers.
That offense, they get the ball. That offense is designed to quick release and shit like that.
And you're barely covering guys and breaking up plays. Mm-hmm. Unless this game's a shootout, you got no chance.
I mean, I don't know if Nick Mullins will back up his performance. Like, he played really well against the Giants last week. I don't know if he'll play that well again. I could see the 49ers trying to run the football a lot, Jarrett McKinnon and guys like that. I mean, listen, I'm not saying we're not going to win the football game, but I'm out of my damn mind if I'm going to sit here and come anything close to predicting the Eagles to win this game. I mean, we're going to It's almost unfathomable for me to think we can win this game. I'd like to think we could play them tough and play them competitive and keep it close, but I really don't know if we can win this football game. I'm seeing 0-3-1 after Sunday night. I just am.
I'm trying to find a reason to go about that, but also, and then Spencer's also bringing up Nick Foles is doing well in Chicago after
Nick Foles will stink again in 3 weeks, and people are going to stop.
Philly fans are coming out like, listen. I get it. You know, we already say what was it? EDP? What was it? Was it he walks? He's walking.
I don't know.
His quarterback.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the big fat guy that makes all the.
Don't come back, brother. Please stay there, please. But that being said, we're still talking about, you know, Nick Foles has only played what, 3/4? Stop it.
Nick Foles just said that Frank Reich was the guy that figured him out as a player, and we think that him and Doug Peterson's system's going to be any like Jesus Christ. These people. I've always said this. These people that won't stop riding Nick Foles' dick 3 years after the fact, they remind me of the people that got fucking laid for the first time in high school and then become obsessed with the person they lost their virginity to. Like they get their name tattooed on them, and they won't fucking stop calling them in the middle of the night.
We don't need Derek Barnett on the field. We need to use him as trade bait for something at this point in time.
You know, I mean, these Nick Foles people are just fucking out of their mind. Like the dude will be great. He played well coming off the bench against a they were literally playing prevent 2 the whole fucking time in the second half until it got fucking tight. And people act like he threw 3 touchdowns. Great. He went 19 of 29 for like. You know, I mean, like, let's be honest here. Like, yeah, he was okay. Yeah, great. He had his moments. He did what Nick Foles does. We're going to act like the dude's going to play like that every fucking game again. He's going to suck it up in 3 weeks. We're going to fucking sit here and be laughing about how bad Nick Foles is playing. We'll probably be in the same position, though, so it's not going to really be that funny. It'll just be something else to deflect our pain away from. But still.
But to be fair, at this point in time, he probably has a better chance of making the playoffs than we do.
Well, they're 3-0. Anytime you're 3-0, you got a better chance of making the playoffs than we do. I mean, what kind of fucking nonsense is that? Hell, I mean, any simpleton could have figured that one out. Like, that's just basic math. 3-0 is better than 0-2-1. Of course, they got a better chance.
And speaking of the NFL, you know, we got a little bit of problem going on. You know, we had several Titans players test positive for COVID. Mr. Cam Newton has tested positive COVID. So how's that going to play out?
I just hope they cancel the whole fucking season at this point. See, what we're going to do is in like 3 weeks, there's going to be so many fucking COVID tests that they're not going to have any other choice but to cancel the season. And then at that point, you can't have a playoffs. You can't have anything. So everything just doesn't count. The records don't count. The stats don't count. Nothing fucking counts. And we could just pretend like 2020 never fucking happened. We didn't get off to this hideous start. Carson Wentz is still a phenomenal quarterback. Doug Peterson's still the Super Bowl winning head coach that he was before. And we could just pretend like 2020 was some anomaly. Anomaly.
Jack kind of hit the Control-Alt-Delete button on 2020 right now.
That's what we're trying to do. It's just, hey, get rid of it. Peace. Deuces.
I mean, I can't necessarily disagree with you, but we still have to see what this team could do. We've seen worse things happen. There's leaders on that team. There's veterans on that team.
Are you out of your mind, Steven? Are you out of your mind?
I am out of my mind.
I need to get whatever you're smoking, bro, because I have zero confidence in any of what you are talking about over here.
Hey, man, it ain't over. What's the Yogi Berra saying, man? It ain't over till it's over. You know, we're only 3 games in.
Hey, Yogi, hold on. Hello. Yeah, that was Yogi Berra. He said it's over. Okay, like he said it's over, bro. Just saying.
Anthony, you need to relax, bro. Put the bud down. Put the beer down, brother. Oh man. But yeah, I mean,
I think Nick Foles is more like the Catholic girl that doesn't want to lose her virginity, so she lets you stick it in her ass instead. She teases you, like makes it seem like you're eventually going to get the smash, but like nothing happens after that. You know what I mean? Like he's more that guy.
Oh my God, I need to chill with you, bro. You need to chill with it, bro. But you're hitting Control-Alt-Delete. Listen, I know you think it's over, but listen.
I mean, when you just look at our schedule, it is over, bro. I mean, look at our schedule. How do we even get the 8 wins realistically?
Listen. You get very, very, very well might see a freaking 6-7-1 division winner coming out of the freaking NFC.
Who could be 6-7-2? Gonna have 2 ties, and it's gonna be fucking ridiculous. But I mean, realistically, see, even if we decide to say, even if like we said 8 wins you the division, I mean, I don't even see 8 wins on the schedule. Where the fuck are the 8 wins in the rest of these games? I mean, we couldn't beat the Redskins earlier. And they're like, well, I'm just expecting we're going to no, let's pull up the Eagles schedule and you tell me where 8 wins are at, bro. Because I'm like, I want to be optimistic with you. I want to act like everything can, I think at this point, honestly, this is what I see the rest of the season being. I think at best case scenario, we're playing to evaluate what the hell we have for next year. Will Doug Peterson be our head coach next year? Which of our assistants will still be here next year? Howie Roseman's probably already out the door, so I don't even want to talk about his job. But you're not playing to see if you can win anything this year. What you're playing is to evaluate for next year. I talk about Doug Peterson having 13 games to save his job. Yeah, if you can get the 6 or 7 wins, come close to making a run at it, maybe, okay, cool. We got to figure something out with the play calling, though. But this could also implode, and we could be a 4-win football team at the end of everything. And then I don't know what you say. Somebody's got to get fired. You got to make somebody's head roll. You got to make some type of statement. So I think we could be in a position where we're just playing to evaluate what we are next year. Who do we want to trade and get rid of? What players are part of our future going forward? All of that.
Based on the guys you can and can't moving forward. But I mean, it's still a little bit early to kind of give up on this team.
Okay, well, then here you go. Well, then here you go. So what do you have happening against the 49ers Sunday night? You have a winning or losing this week?
I'm not winning.
You're not winning. Okay, so we go 0-3-1, or maybe that's another tie, and we can get lucky and. Maybe it'll be a tie.
We beat Pittsburgh. We're not beating Baltimore. That's
okay. So you've got us at 1-4-1 pretty much as we come out of the Baltimore game.
Go on them that
okay.
December run like they normally do.
Well, we've got after the Ravens game, we've got the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Giants in 3 straight weeks. You pretty much have to win all 3 of them at that point. Then, if you're 1-4-1 coming out of that Baltimore game, you've got to then win 3 in a row. You've got to win against the Giants, the Cowboys, and then the Giants again. Now all of a sudden you're 4-4, and maybe you are right there in a position to make something of the season, but. I don't have any confidence in any of that right now. If any, I guess the Giants are as much of a dumpster fire as us.
Are you going to address this one, or do you want me to?
People trashing the Cowboys. They've played a tough schedule to start the year. Have played close games. Yeah, I mean, listen. As much as me and Joseph haven't seen eye to eye, right now the Cowboys look like a much better football team than us. Yeah, they're 1-2, but they've played the Seahawks tight. They played the Rams tight. We got our asses kicked by the Rams. I think we're going to learn a lot in this Browns game of who the Cowboys really are. If the Browns go in there and beat them, all of a sudden I'm going to be like, woo, okay, maybe we both just suck a lot of ass, and there is a chance. But I see the Cowboys probably beating Cleveland, getting to 2-2, and then we're in a position where if we lose to San Francisco, now we're in some deep shit, and it's not even week 5. So – we really got to hope that Cleveland does us a favor here and beats Dallas. But I don't see Cleveland going to 3-1 while Dallas goes to 1-3. I just don't see with the NFL atmosphere. Maybe 2020, the weird things happen and Cleveland starts 3-1 and Dallas starts 1-3. But I don't see that. I see Dallas winning that game.
Yeah, no one's getting charity from Baltimore this year. I don't know what you're talking about, Spence.
Now what else is interesting, Steven, is we play after that Giants, Cowboys, and Giants stretch. Then we go play the Browns, the Seahawks, the Packers, the Saints, and the Cardinals in five straight weeks, bro. So, you want me to be optimistic about 8 wins? I mean, dude, this is. There's tough schedules, and then there's ours. I mean, we're playing every single one of those teams I just mentioned could be a playoff team.
I think Carson Wentz's persona is smoking more stuff than I am right now. The D-line has made plays, but they're not going to make it. They're not going to make any huge plays against this team. That's a good offensive line in the San Francisco 49ers. So
and they're well coached and well schemed. The zone blocking with the way they run the ball, they get the ball out of the quarterback's hands quick. It's just going to be hard for us to get any type of pressure. It just is. It's just the way their offense works.
Yeah, and then what we have to worry about is, a lot of the fans are seeing it, that Dallas is starting to kind of put things together despite where the record is. So,
we'll find out a lot over these next 3 weeks, both ways. Put it that way. We're going to, we'll find out a lot about us. Maybe this team's grittier and everything we're talking about with Doug, all of a sudden he brings us back and he rallies the team, which that's the one thing he does really well is he gets everybody focused. It seems like when it seems like their backs are against the wall the most you could, like, you can't get it back any further. Like, you know what I mean? It's like this is it. Like, that's when this team has seemed to always respond best under him. But we'll learn a lot about us and the Cowboys during this 3-week stretch. You know, if the Cowboys go win two of the next three, and we only win one, now we're in a lot of shit. Now we're playing catch up again. With a schedule that isn't favorable. We've got to hope that we get lucky and that the Cowboys lose a couple games here that they probably shouldn't against the Browns, and then there's got to be a couple more here coming up, where you look at and say they shouldn't have lost that game. It's easy, you could have looked at any of these first 3 games for the Cowboys and made the argument that, when you look at those teams on paper, okay, that game could go either way.
Look, you and Joseph are going to go in again.
2 or 3 more teams get hit hard by COVID. Season gets canceled. We can pretend this year never happened. Now, that's just him listening to what I said earlier and then trying to, steal my thunder.
He didn't get demoted. Did they demote him or did he step down? We've been on the air, so we don't know exactly what happened.
It probably was a mutual. Let's be honest. It was probably a mutual agreement. It was probably one of those, you're going to resign or we're going to fire you type of thing. So to save face, he steps down as general manager. But, I mean,
Listen, Carson isn't going anywhere. We've kind of beaten this drum. You can't get one for at least 2 to 3 seasons. You're just going to have to ride with what you got.
Max Kellerman brought that stupid trade proposal up, and he's another idiot. Doesn't understand how NFL salary caps work. You couldn't realistically trade Carson Wentz. You couldn't even realistically cut him at any point for the next couple of years. It's just too much of a dead cap hit. The dead cap hit that you'll take by doing that is insanity. You just can't do it. That's the other thing when people talk about, Jalen Hurts will be Jalen Hurts won't start until Carson Wentz isn't here. One way or another. They're not going to bench the guy that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, unless he's playing at such a terrible level for such a long period of time where you just have to make the move, they're not going to bench Carson when he has such a cap hit where there's no way out from under him. You're not going to bench him halfway through this year, start Jalen Hurts, and then go in the next year and start Jalen Hurts again and just keep the guy with that much of a cap hit on your bench. That's financial suicide for an organization. So, let's just be honest here. We all fucking know people that want to actually act like Jalen Hurts is better than Carson Wentz are still smoking crack or whatever fucking drug you want to, like, that's ridiculous anyway. So that conversation is ridiculous on its face. But then when you add in the contract and you add in the dead cap hit that comes with it, it just becomes laughable. It's hysterical that people still want to talk about it like it's a possibility. Like, it's just not.
Yeah, like I said, you're gonna get better off with some of these guys that you signed a few years ago that either are on the last year or 2 of their deal, et cetera, like that.
You're better off trying to find a way out of Fletcher Cox's contract and hoping that does enough to relieve you of some cap damage, where then you can find a couple cute things you can do with a couple of guys, from a contract perspective that puts you at least back in the positive. But we're so fucked next year from a cap figure as it stands. What the hell are you going to do? How is it, how are you going to fix anything? Adrian Peterson, whatever. Adrian Peterson, I mean, he's the Lions' main running back, now. So Adrian Peterson's still balling out at 37 years old or whatever the fuck he is.
Yeah.
35. He said he wants to play till he's 40.
And I'm with Spencer here. I really don't want to hear anything about Jalen Hurts.
I know, exactly. Like he fucking runs it. First of all, they won't even let him throw the ball. Let's be honest. We've seen him run read options whenever he's been on the field, and it's either hand the ball off or run it. They won't even let him throw the ball because they don't trust him to be able to read an NFL defense at the moment. So he's not even allowed to throw the football. Then he tried to run a read option, something he's done a million times in college, and he fumbled the fucking handoff. When he tried to fake it to fucking Sanders. So we're going to sit here. What is Jalen Hurts going to do? Jalen Hurts was going to make any of those throws that Carson Wentz missed? Was Jalen, come on, like, really? Like, Jalen Hurts was all of a sudden going to start making tight window throws with receivers that get no separation and flatten out their routes at the bottom of it, or at the top of it, when they should be trying to, finish strong, flatten out a slant route, instead of taking it up the field and giving an easier window for a quarterback to throw into. Little subtle things that receivers can do to help their quarterback that our guys don't, either because they suck or they're just not well coached or both. Take the training wheels off. I mean, listen, he did that last week. He started the scramble, and what happened when he used his legs against Cincinnati? He ran over a linebacker, for God's sakes. On like third down at the first down marker, he ran over a linebacker. I think it was the play that got called back because of the Herbig holding penalty or whatever the hell it was. But I agree with that to a certain extent. Listen, you can't sit here, whether they told him to stop running, whether he made that conscious decision. I've talked with somebody about this, and we were having a conversation as far as what we thought about it. I think that was a coaching staff decision after Wentz got hurt for them to tell him, stop using your legs, stop running so much, all that. Because if you just think like an athlete, the way athletes think is they're going to do whatever they do best. No matter what, athletes are going to try to do what they do best. So Carson's not going to intentionally stop doing something that makes him a better football player. Like he's not going to do that by himself. He does that because the coaching staff asked him to. I don't give a fuck about injuries. If he gets hurt again, he gets hurt again, and that's why we drafted Jalen Hurts. You need him to be the best player he can possibly be, and if that means he's running for 60-something yards like he did last week, and he's running over linebackers 10 yards down the field trying to get the first down, hey, then that's what I need him to be. Whatever. If that's what he is, if that's the attitude that he has to play the game with, maybe there's some truth to the idea that he's got to. Like if he tries to hold anything back, maybe that hurts him as a football player. Like some guys when they play sports, like they've just got to be at one speed at all times. It's go, 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 or whatever. You can't try to hold anything back. When you hold things back, that's when you actually end up playing worse. And maybe Carson trying to hold some of that stuff back, and like Joseph said, with the legs and not running and all that, maybe that makes him less of a player because he's just not out there playing football naturally anymore. He's thinking too much. He's trying to do all these things that are unnatural to him instead of just playing the game as the way that it comes to him. You've just got to go play. You've got to be out there on the field. It's almost got to be like no thinking involved. You're just playing football. It's all instinct. And I'd rather Carson, if that means he's going to run the ball when lanes are there for him to run it, do that. And I'm not going to worry about him getting hurt. Let him play his game. And the rest, whatever happens with that. But I don't know if the saying take the training wheels off of him is the right term. The bottom line is, whether it's coaches telling him to do that and he's got to ignore it. We saw last week when he started to run the football and he actually took off and used his legs, all of a sudden he became a lot more effective again. He looked special at times just in that short period where he was running with his legs. I wasn't scared. What's there to be scared about, Spence? At this point, we can't be scared. He's running for the touchdown. He actually looked really good. You're like, if you can do that every fucking drive when you're down inside the 5, I need that.
Much, much slower.
That's fine. He was never really fast to begin with. He's definitely lost a couple steps with the knee, but still, that's not what makes him tough as a runner. What makes him tough as a runner is he's so big and fucking strong that he's hard to take down. And we see him when he lowers his shoulder in the linebackers or safeties or cornerbacks. I mean, he is a load, and he's going to run into you and fall forward and get an extra couple yards just by falling forward. I'm not going to be scared about that. Do what it is.
2017 Wentz just because there's some things you lose athletically after that knee injury. But
the play style, I understand what he's saying. The play style needs to be there.
That style of play and that style of play calling.
The play style needs to be there. Yes.
It's there. You just don't have the right personnel. And I don't know what's going on with Doug. I don't know if, he's got somebody in his ear. He's coaching scared. I can't tell you what's going on.
I think he's overwhelmed. I mean, really, when you look, there's no other explanation for, he didn't want to hire an offensive coordinator for a reason. He wanted this to be his offense, right? He wanted this to be, make no mistake about it, this is my offense. I don't need an offensive coordinator. We don't need any of that. I've got this. It's my offense. So he's got all this extra responsibility throughout the week that maybe he didn't realize just how big of a deal it was going to be to take on that extra responsibility. But the dude just looks overwhelmed. There's simple shit out there that any fucking, Monday morning quarterback can sit there and fucking see during the game and be like, why are we not adjusting? Why did you do that? What was the point of that? There's so much simple shit. Like I said, it's Pop Warner nonsense. A Pop Warner football coach could look at it and figure out that, why'd you, that's just stupid. Why'd you do that? There's things that, whether he's listening to too many people, whether he's not listening to enough people, I don't know what the deal is, Steven. I'm tired of speculating about the deal. I think it's stupid that we continue to sit here and speculate about it rather than just saying no matter what the fuck the deal is, no matter what it is, it needs to fucking be fixed. Whatever it is, there's no more excuses for it. Fucking fix it. And Jeffrey Lurie needs to walk his way into this conversation and say, y'all are going to fucking fix it or I'll fix it for you. Because this is how we end up in these situations with Jeffrey Lurie. We've seen this before with him. He is way too loyal of a person as an owner. He lets that loyalty, cloud his judgment. You win a fucking Super Bowl, and next thing you know, we're stuck with 10 years of mediocrity because he can't pull the trigger and move on for people he needs to move on to. Anthony, you heard 5 people. We all hear a lot of shit. None of us actually know what the issue is. That's what I was saying. Whatever. Great. I've heard a lot of those rumors too. We've heard what Jaws has possibly said. None of us know for sure what the deal is. All any of us can say is, hey, whatever it is, fucking fix it at this point. I don't care what it is anymore.
You know what it is? He doesn't trust his offensive line, which I think is kind of filtering down into what
he's definitely gun shy from the pocket. I agree with you there, Steven. I think you're onto something there.
And that's why a lot of times, even before it gets there, you kind of see him, kind of yanking himself out of there, and he's not really able to look down the field and give his reads right. And you're starting to see it play into his mechanics and everything else. And he's trying to fit balls in there, and you are getting, you got to. I'll say one thing. We've been saying a lot of things about Zach Ertz. He made like a few eagle claw, one-handed freaking catches last week that were. Like, hey, man, that's my.
So now he's going to get double teamed now he's going to get double teamed from the football because they're on Dallas Goedert.
Yeah.
So now they're going to take Zach Ertz, which is only your only reliable passing game weapon. They're going to take him right out of the game plan and say, beat me with somebody else. That's what they're going to do. The 49ers are way too well coached of a football team.
You better hope they gave an Andre Killigan's that freaking playbook, brother, because he's the only way that this offense is going to be able to produce any points this week. Is getting him to get them off of whatever else.
Miles Sanders needs to have 30 touches.
I'm not telling you he's going to be 15, 20. He needs 5 to 10 touches just to get them to be honest and open things up on the field. And you can make other things happen with Miles, with Zach, with Greg Ward, etc. You're going to have to do that to win this game.
All right. So here you go. I've got official word. Klentak stepped down but has been reassigned within the organization. Are you fucking kidding me? Where do we reassign him to? Is he the new equipment manager? Is he working at the snack bar? Is this dude selling peanuts? Where's he reassigned to?
Oh, man.
Where did we reassign? Please tell me this dude is now selling beer in the fucking upper deck or something. Holy shit. He's the new bullpen catcher. I mean, good Lord. He's the new BP pitcher. There we go. We needed a new one of them from what I've heard. We needed a new BP pitcher. The dude pitched in college. Did you know that?
Oh, man.
Klentak pitched at Dartmouth or whatever. Great. He could be my new BP pitcher. We reassign. This is why we suck as organizations. This is why in Philly sports we all fucking suck. This is that loyalty I fucking talk about. What the fuck is this guy?
We got to go back to Trump saying in Philly Drinkers t-shirts. Make sure you guys are getting the very things that happen in Philadelphia tees from Philly Drinkers, courtesy of A2D. And yeah, man. I mean, it's bad, man.
What the fuck? Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. What has Matt Klentak done that's giving you his loyalty to be like, we're not going to fire you. We're just going to reassign you in the organization? He sucked. He has sucked ass his entire time here. We have no playoff appearances. We don't have a single winning record. We've been absolutely fucking terrible. Yet this guy somehow is getting reassigned? That's the definition of the guy that you kick to the curb and tell him, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. We don't need you here. You're a fucking cancer to this organization. Oh, my God.
Welcome to Philadelphia.
He's being reassigned within the organization. The Eagles are going to fire Howie Roseman, and Matt Klentak will be our new GM. There's a straight-up trade. Howie Roseman for Matt Klentak.
All right. Well, so when you get sacked 8 times in every play, you're close to getting hit or actually get hit. The world definitely listen. It doesn't matter. You know what you can get out of your offensive lineman. The problem is the rotating door of offensive linemen over the past 3 seasons. He doesn't know where he can go, and that's what I'm saying. You're going to have to design things to move.
Yeah.
And the other problem with that is the offensive line, regardless of how well they're playing, he just doesn't know them well enough.
And he's got, and you brought up the receiver stat earlier. People want to, you got to stop making excuses for him. I mean, I dare you to bring me another football team that in the last 5 years, literally, they've had 20 wide receivers and 15 of them aren't even in the fucking league anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like fucking insanity. Like some of this shit is just ridiculous. But then, it's not only that, he had one healthy wide receiver practice with him this week. Like Greg Ward was the only healthy wide receiver. Great. So JJ, what happened? And we were going to lean. Hold on, Steven. We were going to lean on JJ Ortega-Whiteside last week. I guess somebody leaned on him too hard in pre-games and he got fucking hurt because we haven't seen the guy since. I mean, holy shit.
Yeah, but like since Carson Wentz, it's 20 wide receivers. 10 of them are no longer late. Jackson's missed 16 out of 20. Alshon's missed 10 out of 20. Greg Ward is his best receiver. You want to throw Aguilar and Tate in there, whatever that was.
I don't even want to just pretend they weren't here.
And 5 other receivers have combined for a career of a total of 25 catches. So
it's just insanity. Greg Ward is his best receiver during that whole stretch. Of those 20 receivers, Greg Ward's the most reliable.
And he was a practice squad player up until last season.
That's almost, think about how you can almost find somebody that's better than Greg Ward by accident in this league.
And we haven't. You go.
We just have, really. It's so fucking insane.
We've spent the last 2 seasons trying to find somebody to fill the role production of what Alshon Jeffrey is. We wasted a pick on JJ Ortega-Whiteside last year. We've been trying to find something recycled off the trash heap. And the other thing that hurts us is when Marquise Goodson freaking opted out of the season.
He saw the writing on the wall. He was like, "Fuck this." He's like, "This fucking situation's a fucking mess. Doug Peterson doesn't know his elbows from his ass, and I don't want to catch COVID with a newborn. Fuck out of here."
I don't agree with that one either. I think he has been pushed. I don't think it's the same problem here. I just think it's not having anyone around him. It really isn't. You can scheme away your running back. You can scheme away the tight end. But if you don't have anyone on the outside to actually open the field up, it doesn't matter.
Look how bad Deshaun Watson all of a sudden looks. The Texans are 0-3 and he doesn't have DeAndre Hopkins. And all of a sudden he looks like an average quarterback. Look how much better Josh Allen looks all of a sudden that Stephon Diggs is in the conversation in Buffalo. This isn't like coincidence. It's not rocket science. You know what I mean? Like, it's really simple. Surround your quarterback with weapons and things work out okay. We've tried to surround our quarterback with weapons. So far, none of them we've got a bunch of guns that fire blanks and we've got a bunch of knives that we've got a bunch of arrows with target tips instead of broadheads. We've swung and missed on every single offensive weapon when it comes to outside receivers. Miles Sanders was a hit, but he's a running back. We keep talking about how much of a Zach Ertz hit. Zach Ertz was so long ago. That was during the Chip Kelly era. That's how long ago Zach Ertz was. So Nelson Aguilar stinks. He's not a good player, Spence. When the fuck is he looking good? What games are you watching with the Raiders? When does he look good? He had one catch 2 weeks ago, and people were sucking his dick like he was Jerry Rice all of a sudden. Hey, I'm sorry. Is that Nelson Aguilar or Timmy Brown out there for the Raiders? I couldn't tell the difference.
I don't know if it's a cardio thing. I mean,
that has nothing to do with cardio. That has to do with Doug Peterson not committing to run the fucking football and give Miles Sanders 30 touches one way or another. He doesn't necessarily need to run the ball 30 times, but there's no excuse for him not to be touching the ball 30 times in a game between running the ball and catching it. No fucking excuse. None, zero, zip whatsoever. You need to be lining him up as a receiver in the backfield everywhere.
Correct that to targets, not touches. Target.
Okay, so you're trying to design. You're trying to get the ball in his hand 30 times in a game. That's your design. We're designing 30 plays that the ball is specifically designed to get into Miles Sanders' hands. Obviously, some of them aren't going to work out. That's always the way a game plan is. But you're trying to design 30 plays. And what happened at the end of last year, we would put Boston Scott and him on the field at the same time in that final 4-game stretch. And, he's actually catching balls now. He caught one pass. Oh, my fucking Lord. Jesus Christ! Again, like it's not Tim Brown all of a sudden, bitch. Jesus God, Spence, we were on the same page too, and now you're making me act like Chris Farley. Like every time I drive down the road, I want to jerk the wheel. Like, oh Jesus Christ! We just killed Bambi.
Even Carson Wentz is.
Even Carson thinks he sucked. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I mean, it's so fucking ridiculous. It really is.
So,
Miles Sanders. Steven, do you remember last year what I'm talking about? The final 4 games of the year, where we would put Miles Sanders and Boston Scott on the field at the same time, have them both in the backfield. It's hard to cover both of them at the same time because you don't know. They could either one of them get the ball. You don't know which one it is. We'd at times line Miles Sanders in the slot with Scott in the backfield. Where's that?
The offensive line. I'm starting to think maybe that's why we're seeing the problems with play calling is that Doug doesn't trust it.
And the offensive line, to be honest, people want to talk about how bad they've played. I mean, it's been in shambles. We've had all different parts and pieces. Jason Peters has played really bad, but there's been some positives on that offensive line too.
What's the cure for that again? What's the cure for bad pass blocking? Oh, running the ball. That's right.
Well, that's true too. Yeah. Or if we're going to talk about, we haven't had any consistency with the bodies up front. We've been so injured on the offensive line. It's like we're rotating guys in and out. Well, you know what another good cause for that is? Running the fucking football. We have no idea who can hold a block for longer than 2 seconds and who can't. Maybe you should just run the goddamn ball. And we couldn't trade for DeAndre Hopkins, DB, because what were we going to pay him with your paycheck? Whose money was he going to get when he wanted that extension that he just got in Arizona? That wasn't going to happen here. Nobody's safe. Everybody's getting it. He hasn't reached his potential because I watched. Okay, you watched and went to PSU, so you're an expert, right, Anthony?
Stop. Yeah, I agree with you. Mulata's gonna get killed this week. I don't know how we're gonna do it.
You know what? Here's an idea. Fuck it at this point. Jordan Malaya is a former fucking rugby player. I say just hand him the football in the backfield and let's see somebody tackle his big fucking ass. All right? Miles Sanders. If Miles Sanders isn't going to touch the ball 30 times, let's spell Miles Sanders with a 320-pound former rugby player, and I want to see who to fucking tackle that big motherfucker. Okay? Just for fucking shits and giggles. Just because. I mean, at this point, fuck it. Why not?
Joseph's back at it again.
There's JP. He doesn't even get his bonus. The bonus should have been required on you stay the fuck healthy and play a certain amount of games, or else you ain't getting a goddamn bonus. So his big fucking fat ass better not be getting a fucking bonus. See how out of shape. Speaking of out of shape, Steven, he looked more out of shape than you. I mean, good God. Jesus, I seen you sweat after eating chicken wings, and Jason Peters was. I mean, good Lord, last week it was like. Where's this guy?
Man, dude, Lawson was eating him for breakfast. It was tough to watch.
Jason Peters was over there sucking wind on the sideline. Lawson was past him twice before Peters could even get out of his stance. He was like, "Oh shit! Wait, did you just sack him twice by the time what the fuck? Holy hell!"
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, man. We're not getting that. So we're getting inconsistent play from that whole left side. It's rough, man. You don't know what you're going to do with the team.
We're just being fed a bunch of nonsense.
Listen, man. I know a lot of people wanted to get blown up. We still have to see what plays out. We still have to see how bad the rest of our division is.
We know the Giants are really bad. That we know. They're really bad.
We still have a lot of division games to go up too, so it's
yeah. I mean, we pretty much have to win the rest of our division games now, though. I mean, that's the way I look at it. We have to go undefeated in the division now for the rest of the year to even give ourselves a chance, because we've got the Seahawks and the Browns and the Ravens and the Steelers and the 49ers and the Packers and the Saints and all those teams that are in our conference, that aren't in our division that we're still going to play. And even winning 5 games in the division might be the only 5 games we win out of that fucking stretch of games I just talked about.
I mean, at this point in time, we should be, to you, Joseph, we should be called the Philadelphia practice squad because that's what this team is.
Yeah. Somebody brought up one of my friends brought up to me the idea that he said realistically, he's like, I think you guys have maybe 12 players on your entire roster that other NFL teams actually want. Not that other NFL teams would just take because they need somebody, but that other NFL teams actually want. Like if they were like, hey, like, yeah, I really want that guy. Like he said, we might have 12 guys on our roster where other NFL teams are like, I really like that guy. I want him on my football team. And I tried to think about it, and I was like, I don't even know if I could name 12. Like 12 might be being generous. Like if we're being honest, 12 might be a generous number.
I don't know. You might be right. Might be less than that. I don't know. I really don't. It's you just laugh at it. That's all you can do at this point, right?
And then all these people around the league, we want to dismiss these reports. There was reports from around the league, from anonymous coaches and executives and people like that said they felt like Doug Peterson has reached his peak. That, as a head coach, he's reached his peak, and that he's kind of plateaued, and they think he's suffering from burnout and all these other things, and then yada yada. And we like to dismiss those reports as bullshit. I mean, is there any reason? Like, why should we give the Eagles the benefit of the doubt in this situation and not give the reporter that's reporting this the benefit of the doubt when you look at how this season has started and when you look at how bad Doug Peterson's been as a coach so far, and you look at all those things together? Maybe this report from all these executives around the league that want to keep their names anonymous and we want to dismiss as bullshit. Maybe it's not as bullshit as we think it is, and maybe there's some legitimate, some substance to it.
Yeah, but as we're getting ready to wrap this up, I want to make sure all our listeners this afternoon know, make sure you're locked in tomorrow morning, because the A2D boys are going to be on ESPN on 97.3. I believe they're going to be down there at the all campus down there in Ocean City, New Jersey. That I believe there will be Philly drinkers. Bad things happen in Philadelphia teas available for purchase there as well. Make sure you guys are either tuning in, go down there, get your mask on, go buy some t-shirts, go show HSD some love down there, because I know the guys are going to be definitely having some fun talking some Eagles football, heading into the game there. Early morning football talk can't be any better there on ESPN radio, right, my friend?
Well, I mean, hey, Tommy and the boys on ESPN radio. I mean, hey, that's fireworks right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Got to keep the censors on their toes, man.
Yeah, especially with the, I don't know if I could have did it. You're gonna have to have me on a 5-second delay or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I would. I'd be in trouble. Well, especially if we're a live reaction during a game like that. Then Yeah,
then it might be even worse.
I don't think people are. I don't think it's like you're not allowed in the studio, Anthony. Like Anthony's like, I might go down. I don't think like you're allowed in like ESPN 97.3 studios as they like do that. Like, I don't think that's the way it works.
The all campus thing, so I'm not sure. Just
is that an AC 97.3 Atlantic? I think that's Atlantic City.
Yeah, but I think it's being aired or whatever in Ocean City.
Ocean City.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm definitely looking forward to that. Definitely, hats off to the guys. Make sure you guys are locked in. If you guys can't go down there, make sure if you're trying to get the bad things happen in Philly t-shirts, make sure you're hitting Alex up over at phillydrinkers.com. Make sure you order one, get one. However you're going to to need to get your stuff there, make sure you guys are hitting it up. It's definitely some cool designs. And man,
you're not coming on, Spence. You're not invited.
Oh man, but definitely make sure you're showing the guys love. Tuning in tomorrow, showing Philly Drinkers some love, and as always, before we wrap it up here, big shout out to Ambuck Services. That's AMBUCK Services. Call Michael Ambrose. Tell him A2D set you 20% off gutter guards. And all your stuff around the house. Make sure they got you covered, and that make sure that's you check out the website there at ambuckservices.com. Other than that, Mr. Bird, do you have anything to add before we come back next week?
Nothing to add. Let's just pray for everybody's sanity.
Yeah, well, definitely going to have another guest for you guys lined up here next week. We're going to be joined by a former Eagles player. Just make sure you guys are tuning in to the announcements. The guys on here at the station will let you know what's going on. We'll see you back here again next Saturday afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern, for another episode of the Weekly Roundup. Appreciate all the love and support, guys. Make sure you guys are tuning in and catch up the boys on ESPN Radio tomorrow morning, guys. Send some love. Catch you later.